Well, hello, everybody. This is Mr. O, and today's multi-part lesson is Storyfish. For the teachers or the parents out there, depending on how much time you're giving working with students, this took 3 or 4 class days. And for you students out there who are just creating this for their fun and to learn things, well, it just takes as long as it takes, right? And the first thing I do, and let me show you this nice example, and I did something that's a little different. We're going to be making these fins, and I changed my colors, so I can have 2 beautiful fish. And I would show a lot of examples of fish and art, artists' interpretations of those fish. Since I live in Iowa, I will teach fish facts about Iowa and conservation, the importance of balance in nature. I would cover that mostly day 1, and I would begin the demonstration. And for what you need for creating this fish is markers, glue and scissors, and eraser and pencil. Okay, and of course I used a Ticonderoga pencil. The reason I point that out is it's easy to erase. I draw a little dark sometimes, and I know some of you do too, so I go back in with the eraser, that way my pencil doesn't come through. I'm going to put this off to the side, and we're going to get started. And if you haven't seen how to fold before, I'm going to raise this up. Sorry about my giant hand, just so you can see. This is cardstock, and I didn't talk about the paper. You don't need cardstock. What cardstock's nice, of course, it's stiff, but the water-based marker, which is the Crayola brand or the Mr. Sketch brand, it doesn't, the marker doesn't leak through it, and that's pretty important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch the corners when I fold, one right there, and then I'm going to work my way down, one right there. And then I'm going to work gently on the fold. Notice I don't just press right away. And now it'll give me pretty much a fold that's pretty much even. Not perfect, but pretty much even. And that's all you want. You don't need perfect, especially how we're going to be cutting. And I'm going to be drawing a different fish than I did before, because that makes it more exciting for me, because I can express my creativity. Now the opening needs to go towards the top, and we want the fold at the bottom of the fish. That way we can open it kind of like a card or a book. These would make great cards, wouldn't they? So if you know a fisherman and you need to make a card for them, here's an idea. And so I'm going to make the main body. I'm going to go to the tail fin, and I'm going to make a wavy fin there. So that's going to take me a little while to cut out there, isn't it? And then I'm going to do a tall dorsal fin. And that'll take me a little time. And then just for fun, even though we won't find a fish like this in Iowa, I'm going to add one of those lights. You guys know what the name of that fish is? The angler fish? Or is it viper fish? Or are they the same thing? I'll have to look that up and tell you next video. And let's do an eye. A nice happy eye. I mean, what's the point of being a fish in the water getting to swim all the time if you don't have a happy eye? Now you notice I don't have a lot of details. This is just my model to cut. So if a student got done a little early with this part and class is almost over, I'd tell them, hey, go ahead and start drawing on it. But most likely we start to cut. And so bear with me on this. And I started this project, I believe I was in Fort Madison is when I first did this project. Wasn't originally mine. I just made some changes to it to kind of make it mine. Just like you guys as individual artists, myself as a teacher, I always try to fit the project to the students. You know, sometimes when you just follow a lesson from a different part of even this country, it doesn't really connect. But by talking about Iowa fish, I'm connecting science to the art in an obvious way. What you may not know, or what I would say administrators do not know, is that art connects to everything. Whether it's math, science, English, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in this project. And now you see how I'm kind of cutting. Some of you may not be able to do that due to motor skills, limitations, and I should do a better job of just giving you a way. If you have trouble cutting, sometimes what's nice is that you just cut like this, and notice that I got some of the line, and I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to just get a little bit there. And that's one way, is you just kind of keep cutting smaller portions out at a time. And that way you have better control. Does that kind of make sense? Now I want to save my scraps. I'm putting my scraps off to the side so that they don't hit the floor. If you haven't noticed this in any of my videos, with the newer camera setup, I'm at a slant. I'm drawing on a drafting table now. So I do not want to lose my scraps as they slide to the floor. I do have a pencil catch, but doesn't always catch everything. And I got to challenge myself. I thought the fins would be the challenging part, but it's this. And so I'm going to cut this a little smaller. And of course, you guys probably have smaller scissors, will make that easy, but I realize I don't have small scissors here. Let's cut that a little bit. And you're going, man, when is he going to be done cutting the fish? Almost. I challenged myself here, and I'm wasting your time. I hope I'm not wasting your time. I hope you're enjoying this. So I got that. So I overcut a little bit. Mistakes, accidents happen, and we're going to just go from there. Oh, I did forget one more thing. I always like to do this because when I open it up, it creates a little hole. I want to cut this part of the tail. I don't know why I always do it. I give the kids the option. They don't have to add anything they don't want to. And so I have this part of the fish. Now, before I do anything else, I need to make some fins and do some gluing. So I take my scraps. Usually I have a piece that's kind of connected. This time I don't. And I take a look at my scraps, and you'll notice that like this part almost already looks like a fin. Now I can draw it on, which I will do for you. And I'm going to make a tab, because this tab is what we're going to glue. So I'm going to keep these two pieces together, lined up. I'm going to hold it. Don't worry if you can't. If you drop one, just cut the one out and then trace it on another piece of scrap. But this way I have two. I'm going to fold this in, and you're going to see I'm going to have fins. And I'm going to glue those. I'm only going to glue one for you because I like to give a little time in between. And I just put one dot. I don't know if you saw that. I probably went too quick. But all I did is I put one dot. As you can see, it wants to move. So I hold that for a few minutes, and then I'll glue the other side. That's all I'm going to do for this part of the lesson. Part 2, we will show the rest of the fish. And I want you guys to know, had to use my mouth to open that. You are loved. You guys aren't alone, and you guys are important. And I'll just see you next video. So I hope you enjoy what we are doing so far. Next video, we'll talk about drawing details and coloring. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.